Alright, welcome everybody to Outcast Productions, back again for another video. Before I start, again, I want to thank my sponsors, Midnight Games. The information will be in the description. Today's video is going to be a little bit more serious than last. Yes, it is another segment of Unpopular Opinions, but I don't know how unpopular this will be. Because I'm just going to report facts for the most part. So anyway, here we go. I'm going to be talking about the Fort Hood disappearances and all the mess that's been going on. I got a lot written down. So, for those that don't know the background of this, I'll be covering a lot of material. So, again, I apologize, but I just want to get a full picture. So, Fort Hood is a U.S. Army located in Killeen, Texas, and is no stranger to controversies. So, in 2007, the body of Lawrence George Sprader Jr. was found after he had gone MIA during a training exercise. I think it was land nav, if I'm not mistaken. There was a massive search that was conducted. He was seen to have died from hypothermia and dehydration. Now, in 2009, which is arguably the most famous Fort Hood case, Army Major and psychiatrist Nidal Malik Hassan opened fire in the SRC, which is a Soldier Readiness Center, killed 13 people and wounded 33. He was eventually shot, convicted, and sentenced to death for obviously murder. He did this because I think it was a radicalist point of view. He felt that he was being discriminated because he was Muslim, yada yada yada. Now in 2014, 34-year-old Ivan Lopez went on a shooting spree where he killed 3 people and wounded 16. He died afterwards from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So, went on a massacre and then killed himself. Then, in 2015, Sergeant First Class Gregory McQueen, who ironically was a SAPR, which is a Sexual Awareness Prevention Readiness, I think it is. Essentially, it deals with sexual assault cases. That he's the representative you go to. Was dishonorably discharged after being convicted of organizing a prostitution ring. What a piece of shit. And now we go back to 2020. I'll touch on something that happened in 2019 a little bit later on. But we go to the disappearance of Vanessa Guillen, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. She was a U.S. Army soldier, I think a PFC, who went missing on April 22nd in the parking lot of Regimental Engineer Squadron headquarters. She was nowhere to be found. Her disappearance became national news, like very big, I think in June, if I'm not mistaken. It got to the point where this surpassed the military community, like to the point where it's not just like celebrities and support groups, like people that I personally know that have no affiliation with the military whatsoever are sharing her story. This is how big this news got. Foul play is suspected, as before she disappeared, she had informed her family that she was being sexually harassed by her sergeants. However, unfortunately, she didn't identify him. It is what it is. And then told her family that other females have reported this same sergeant before, but nothing came of it. Because again, her family was like, yeah, go after him. And then shortly afterwards, she disappeared. Now, the aftermath. On June 30th, which was yesterday, human remains were found approximately 26 miles from the site where authorities found the body of Gregory Waddell Morales. I'll get to him in a minute. In a shallow grave. As of yet, the body still hasn't been identified as hers. They just found some random human remains. Now, why I say it's Gregory Waddell Morales. He was a private in the Army. He disappeared back in 2019, but then he was considered AWOL and later labeled a deserter. Remains were found in Killeen, Texas on June 19th, and it was confirmed that it was his. So he died. Again, a foul play is again suspected apparently. However, he is still labeled a deserter. Even though his body was confirmed, he's still labeled a deserter. Now his mom is fighting the system, essentially going after Fort Hood because she wants to clear his name, and because, again, I guess there was a lot of suspicious details in regards to how his investigation went about. And essentially, they kind of slimed this investigation and decided, well, fuck it, we're just gonna label him deserter. So his mom is obviously going after Fort Hood because she wants to clear her son's name, because he was like 2 weeks from getting out before he disappeared. Why would anybody do that? Again, I'm going in assumptions, but you know what I'm saying? 2 weeks before getting out, why would anybody just randomly go AWOL? That doesn't make sense. All right. So in the aftermath, I think I said it before, but on July 1st, which is today, a suspect in the Vanessa Guillen case was found dead. I think it in the same town where Vanessa's body was suspected to be found. Again, that hasn't been confirmed yet, so I can't go about it. This is still a developing story, so there's not a lot of info yet to be. Now, why is this a big thing? Because a lot of females, my friends on Facebook that I've seen, have been sharing their sexual harassment or sexual assault story. They saw this as a way to connect with Miss Guillen, and they've been sharing their stories about their own sexual assault experiences. And you know what? I applaud them completely. That takes huge amounts of balls. That is very ballsy. Especially, you know, in some cases, they feel like they can't do anything about it. I think that's bullshit. I think there should, like, I don't think there shouldn't be any statute of limitations for something like that. Just like there isn't for murder, there shouldn't be anything for sexual assault cases. Maybe sexual harassment, okay, maybe, but not sexual assault. That is huge. Um, and you know, the outcry of support, again, when I tell you, my friends that are not military related at all are sharing these stories, you know, it's big. You know, it's crazy. And I guess I'm gonna go on a little bit of on a rant for a second, but nobody wants to talk about it. But everyone knows stuff like sexual assault. It's very prevalent in the military, mainly with young females. Males too, but just males don't really speak about it. And it normally comes from people in positions of power, which is really shitty. And I've seen cases where, I'm not gonna name any names, but there was a sergeant major in the base that I was at. Again, I'm not gonna give too many details because I don't want motherfuckers coming after me. Then again, I don't care. Who apparently was having an affair with the, man, what was the name? With the FRO, Family Readiness Officer. I think they have another title now. With the FRO of his unit, he was having an extramarital affair, which again under the UCMJ, that's a no-no. And got her pregnant, and I believe he threatened her with, I don't know if it was through text or through calls. Threatened that he was gonna kill her if she ever showed up to the unit with the kid, or if I think she ever spoke about the affair or whatever the situation was. The lady showed up to the unit, I think with baby in hand, and she obviously made a case about it. What happened? From what I understand, our command tried to tell us, oh yeah, he was severely punished. We know exactly what happened. He got forcibly retired. That's it. Still left with his rank, still left with his benefits. He just got forcibly retired sooner than he wanted to. You know, and it seems to be a trend in the military where people of power tend to get away with a lot of shit. The only time I haven't seen is we had a staff sergeant, I think two actually. One I think was for adultery, and I heard rumors that supposedly he had a prostitution ring. Don't know how true that is. He got busted down to E3 and then got kicked out dishonorably. And then another staff sergeant who I think he was convicted for either pedophilia or having child porn, something like that. That's the only two cases I've seen where action has been taken against superior officers or superiors in general. But for the most part, I've seen, a DUI is huge. I've had buddies who've gotten DUIs and they get absolutely shafted for it. But I saw an officer who had gotten multiple DUIs. Her mugshot I think is still online, and everything was swept under the rug. She was able to write out her contract essentially. They try to keep it under wraps. Obviously, the Lance Corporal Underground found out, and that news spread like wildfire. Again, she got a DUI before she had even gone to her school. She got a DUI. And then I think she got a DUI afterwards. And then she went on deployment. And then she got hit with fraternization for fucking a corporal. And she just got sent back. And I think she got another hit of fraternization. Like this lady was just fucking up constantly. And she was still able to write out her contract. Because I think her dad was a colonel. In somewhere. I might get a lot of hate for this, but you know what? I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm tired of seeing people get away with shit in the military. The only people that get fucked is the lower enlisted. Because it's like, oh, they have nothing to lose. They're not in a important position, so let's fuck them. Let's make an example out of them. But you won't do so out of leaders. And that's probably why this sergeant kept getting away with sexual assault. You see how I did that? I brought it all together. That's probably why he kept getting away with it. Because he could. Because he knew he could. And that is not an uncommon thing that happens in the military. Our sexual assault prevention system sucks. It is garbage. Clearly. And I'm not talking about just in the Marines. I'm talking about in every branch. It sucks. Unfortunately, I don't know how to make it better. But then again, that's not my job. My job is to point it out. You know what I'm saying? My job isn't to come up with the solutions. I can probably help if I knew more about it. But my job is to point it out and make it known. Which is why I'm doing with this. And to give that background and that information to people who don't know what it is. And I never said any of the races because I'm not trying to make this a racial thing. This is not a racial thing. This is a matter of human decency and respect. So please, please, if you're watching this out there, don't make this into a race issue. You're just diverting away what's supposed to be the center of attention, which is, again, the fact that this lady and gentleman disappeared and nothing was done. It was all under suspicious circumstances and nothing's been done properly. And the underlying issue of that, especially with Vanessa, is again the sexual assault case or sexual harassment, I think it was. Regardless, it's to bring out that point, which is why ladies are sharing their point of views. Which is why ladies are sharing their experiences, because it's a matter of solidarity, because they've gone through it. At one point or another, they go through that unfortunate experience. And all I want to do is just bring it out there and make it known that this type of behavior from anybody in any rank, in any branch, is completely unacceptable. I literally have nothing to lose now because I got out. So I can speak my mind knowing that I'm not going to get in trouble. Because, again, a lot of people also don't speak their mind because, which is probably why a lot of these males and females, when this type of shit happens to them, they don't report them because they're afraid of getting in trouble. They're afraid of being persecuted, and you know, the fear of these people with influence, twisting the story and turning it back on them, or just making their life fucking impossible because they want to speak the truth. And that motherfucker wants to keep it hidden. You know, who knows? If the system would have been different, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Now, in the case of Gregory Waddell, you know, it's different. That's just shitty investigation from Fort Hood's part, and they're gonna get fucked for it. The truth is gonna come out. The truth is gonna come out to light, and they're gonna get absolutely fucked for it, as they should. That whole command should be relieved. That is garbage. Garbage. Excuse me. Anyway, I think I'm going on for too long. I just wanted to bring this issue to the light, give my opinions on it, and make this issue public knowledge. If it not already is, the few people that follow me and watch these videos, at least they can get informed with unbiased facts, and then they get my opinion. Ladies, keep doing what you're doing. I completely commend you for it. That takes huge fucking balls. What you're doing is sharing your stories and making them public, and showing that that event doesn't define you, nor did it break you. I completely commend you all for it. It's a shitty situation what you're going through. It's terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. And I can only just hope by bringing these issues out to the light, eventually some sort of change has to happen, because it can't continue going the way it is. It just can't. It doesn't work like that. Anyways, again, I've been Outcast. Thank you for joining me. I know this was a little bit more serious. I'll try to make more lighter videos as we go along. But this just had to be said. If you watch this, please share, support, in the comments or in the Facebook page or whatever. Let's start a conversation. Let's start a conversation about this, because this can't be this can't stay silent anymore. I want to thank you all for joining, and have a great day. Take care.